There was a time when one Roblox game became so unbelievably popular that it pushed the platform to its limits. It wasn't Blox Fruits. It wasn't Brookhaven. It wasn't Adopt Me. It was Grow a Garden. A simple farming simulator somehow attracted more than 16 million players online at the same time, making it the biggest Roblox experience ever in terms of concurrent players. Everywhere you looked, people were talking about it. YouTubers couldn't stop making videos about it. TikTok was flooded with clips, and almost every Roblox player had tried it at least once. It felt unstoppable, but then something unexpected happened. The excitement slowly faded, longtime players started leaving, criticism began spreading across the community, and suddenly everyone started asking the same question. Is Grow a Garden beginning to fall apart? What's even crazier is how this game started. It wasn't originally created by a massive AAA development team with years of planning. Reports say the first version was built by a 16-year-old developer in only a few days before larger studios and experienced developers helped expand it into the phenomenon it became. The gameplay couldn't have been more straightforward. You bought seeds, planted them, waited for them to grow, harvested your crops, earned more money, and repeated the process. There were no complicated combat systems, no giant open worlds, and no difficult mechanics to learn. Yet millions of players became completely hooked because every harvest gave them a satisfying feeling of progress. Within just 33 days, Grow a Garden became the fastest Roblox game in history to reach 1 billion visits. Record after record kept falling, and eventually the game smashed past 16 million concurrent players, a number that many believed would never be reached on Roblox. At that moment, it genuinely looked like Grow a Garden would dominate the platform for years to come. But every game, no matter how successful, eventually faces its biggest challenge, keeping players interested. At first, Grow a Garden handled this by releasing frequent updates. New seeds arrived, new pets appeared, fresh events launched, and exciting mutations gave players more reasons to keep playing. In the beginning, every update felt exciting because there was always something new waiting to be discovered. However, after months of constant content drops, many players noticed something. Although the updates looked different on the surface, they often followed the exact same pattern underneath. Another event, another pet, another crop, another limited time reward. Eventually, the surprise disappeared. Instead of wondering what amazing feature would arrive next, many players felt like they already knew exactly what to expect. At the same time, another criticism started becoming more common throughout the community: monetization. As more premium items, paid boosts, and progression shortcuts were introduced, some players argued that spending Robux was becoming increasingly important if you wanted to progress quickly. While none of these purchases were strictly required, many fans felt the balance between gameplay and monetization was slowly shifting. The relaxing farming simulator they originally fell in love with now felt more like an endless grind designed to keep players logging in every day. The biggest issue, though, wasn't just monetization. It was repetition. At its core, Grow a Garden still revolved around the same basic gameplay loop. Plant your crops, wait for them to grow, harvest them, trade your rewards, then repeat everything again. That formula worked brilliantly at first because every new milestone felt rewarding. But after hundreds of hours, many veteran players realized they had already experienced almost everything the game had to offer. Even the developers later acknowledged that relying on weekly events alone wasn't enough to keep the game fresh forever, announcing plans to focus on deeper farming systems instead of simply releasing another event every week. For many fans, this was an encouraging sign that the team understood the community's concerns. As the game continued growing, some players also complained that their gardens had become overcrowded with collectibles, pets, decorations, and seasonal content. Others reported that performance was becoming less consistent as more features were added over time. None of these problems were enough to destroy the game on their own, but together they slowly changed how many players viewed the experience. The game that once felt simple and relaxing now felt much busier than before. Then came the player numbers. Compared to its unbelievable peak, Grow a Garden experienced a significant decline in concurrent players. Headlines and social media posts quickly began calling the game dead. But here's the interesting part. That isn't actually true. Even after losing a huge percentage of its peak audience, Grow a Garden still attracts enormous numbers of players every day and has accumulated tens of billions of visits, placing it among the biggest Roblox games ever created. The problem is that when you reach over 16 million players online at once, almost any decline looks dramatic by comparison. Most Roblox developers would dream of having even a tiny fraction of Grow a Garden's current audience. So, has Grow a Garden truly failed? Not at all. In fact, Very few games in Roblox history have achieved even a fraction of what it accomplished. It broke records that many thought were impossible, introduced millions of new players to the platform, and became a cultural phenomenon almost overnight. But massive success also comes with enormous expectations. Every update has to be bigger than the last. Every event has to feel more exciting than the previous one. Every week has to convince millions of players to return. Eventually, that becomes an almost impossible standard to maintain. The developers now appear to be focusing on making the gameplay itself deeper rather than relying solely on constant event updates, and whether that strategy succeeds will determine the game's future. One thing, however, is already guaranteed. Grow a Garden has secured its place in Roblox history forever. The only question that remains is whether it can reinvent itself and climb back to the very top once again. If you played Grow a Garden during its biggest days, let me know in the comments what your favorite update was. And don't forget to subscribe for more Roblox documentaries just like this.